Listen, take it a step further. Take it a step further. You know, Pirates of the Caribbean world with Goofy next to Will. It's just going to be that the entire movie.
Did you say Will Smith?
No, I said Will. I just said Will.
And then okay.
What?
You said the first time you said Will, and then you made an S noise at the end of it, and then you cut yourself off and then changed it to just Will. And I was like, what is... I thought you were trying to say Will Smith, and I got really confused.
I was not going to say Will Smith, no. Good. They hear me say words?
Hello.
Okay, we're in. It's done. We're both cursed.
Listen, I would like to tell a story. So last week, I had an interview with a very important lady, and so I got my fancy PC all set up, I got my webcam on, I got my microphone all set, I even opened up Zoom ahead of time so I could make sure my webcam was like facing the right frame, like I was all nicely framed in, my green screen was working. Literally jumped into the meeting 2 minutes before it started. My battery in my mouse died, my mic turned off, my keyboard stopped working, and my computer shut down, so I had to go get my work laptop and do it from there. Wasn't great. So I was like, oh, this was a really bad circumstance of everything terrible that could have happened to me happening at once. I tried to write an article about this interview I did the other night. My computer updated, and Blake can attest to this.
Yes.
My computer updated for hours. I could not get into anything. And I was like, okay, fine. The laptop needed updating. Tonight, I come in here and I sit down forgetting that my mouse still doesn't have a battery, so I had to go get a battery for it. And then I had to replug in everything in. Updates. Okay, yeah. So we wait for the updates to finish. I get in. I open Discord. Now Discord has to update. That's awesome. Yes. My freaking webcam needs to update, and the update won't be complete until I restart my computer. So I restart my computer. I restart my computer, and it's like, we have more updates for you. And then it has to clean. And then we open it up, and everything is broken. I curse. I'm real broken.
This
I don't know what's happening to me.
This all being said, I'm also partially sick. Emily wasn't feeling well earlier today.
No.
Even further than that, the original episode idea, I mean, we were supposed to do a Stellar Blade. Well, I was supposed to do a Stellar Blade review this week. Not even close to being ready because I was taking care of my brother all weekend. It will be ready in 2 weeks. It will be ready. It's a mess.
The luck is really bad. The luck is not on our side, and it's really bad, and I can only hope this is a period of bad luck leading up to my trip, which is just going to be so much good luck because karma has to, equal out at some point, right?
Yeah, I have two trips coming up 2 weeks in a row starting next week. You have your big one right after that.
Yeah. Wait, where are you going?
Me and Allison are going to see Allison's parents next weekend in the state that's closer to me. Not the one far north. Yeah, no, I would let you know if I was going to Michigan.
No, wait a minute.
And then after that, I'm going to a card show with my dad and my brother.
Oh, that would be fun.
Which, it's going to be more difficult with my brother's bum leg, but it will be fine. We'll figure it out.
Dang it, Blaine, ruining all the fun.
No, let's not. My
You're
brother,
the one who said it was going to be harder.
It's fair. Context, my brother tore his Achilles, and when I...
Stop pronouncing it like that. We've
Whatever.
had this talk.
I don't care. That being said, when I posted the updates to that, Emily's first reaction was, I can't believe Blaine died. So...
I thought it was funny.
It was very funny. It made us all laugh. Cool. Wait. Oh, wait. I'm not gonna read that.
Blake has been doing this thing where he pronounces the word Achilles as Achilles.
Achilles. I don't care.
It's Achilles. All right, I'm done calling you out for it. It's fine. Let's talk about Dreamlight.
Nope. Let's talk about news first.
That's news
Girly.
to me. That's the only news I care about.
Yeah, first thing, I mean, I was going to wait, but okay, the first bit of news is Dreamlight Valley had an update today. And Miss Dreamlight Valley over there, all excited. It's a pretty
Two
big
updates technically.
one for the DLC, right?
Yeah, one for the DLC, one for the base game.
The one that I saw is pretty substantial, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that later in our talks about that. So yeah, Dreamlight Valley update. That's going to be part of the episode. Another big update is, and M sent this to me like while we were waiting for everything to work, and then I had seen it a couple days as well. It's rumored that there is a Kingdom Hearts show in development right now for Disney Plus. So yeah, it was supposed to be a show. Apparently, it's been in development since 2020. It was going to be a live action show, and now they're changing to now they're changing to an animated movie. Thank God. I wish they would do it as a show and just do it like season 1 is Kingdom Hearts 1, season 2 Chain of Memories, season 3 Kingdom Hearts, whatever. Like do it that way. That makes more sense. Even season 3, you can make it Kingdom Hearts 2 and 358. Sorry, season 2, you can do Chain of Memories and 358 over 2 days in the same thing because the same time. Whatever works. That's what I would like to see. But I will settle for movies. I will settle.
That's what I read a couple articles on. I sent the one I sent you, and then you said it's going to be animated. And I was like, oh, the thing I had just read said it wasn't sure if it's going to be animated or live action. So then I read a couple more. And they said, that it was originally supposed to be a TV show for Disney Plus, but that pretty much off like the success of the Mario Bros. Movie, they were probably going to try to do an animated movie instead.
I really hope it will be. It needs to be animated. You can't live action that. You can't.
It would be the stupidest looking thing I've seen in my whole life. For like, imagine, okay, you're at Disneyland, right? You've seen how large those like costumes are. Imagine like that Goofy running around with some kid, because they're gonna cast some white kid, right, with like the spiked Sora hair. Like imagine the battles where he just like jumps in the air and is like
listen, take it a step further. Pirates of the Caribbean world with Goofy next to Will. It's just gonna be that the entire movie.
Did you say Will Smith?
No, I said Will. I just said Will.
And then okay.
What?
You said the first time you said Will, and then you made an S noise at the end of it, and then you cut yourself off and then changed it to just Will. And I was like, what is... I thought you were trying to say Will Smith, and I got really confused.
I was not going to say Will Smith, no.
Somebody go back and clip that. I'm not crazy. He said Will, and then like...
The S probably yes. Because I just make weird noises. It's funny. The other day, I was so tired talking to my wife that my brain mid-sentence shut down. I didn't just stop talking, but my words just slurred, and it was a bunch of nonsense coming out of my mouth. So
it's the best of us.
I don't put it past that's what happened. It is very, very, very true. But yeah, I want an animated movie. Don't make it live action. It'd be really, really goofy, pun intended.
It would just be terrible. It would be awful. Nobody would watch it.
Now, how many games are they going to span in the movie? Or is it going to be a spin-off movie that's canon to the game's story? Because knowing Tetsuya Nomura, that's some shit he will pull.
We don't even have the real game story figured out. You want to add like other people in there, and then people, if they made their own thing, people will be like, okay, well, how does this tie into the original Kingdom Hearts universe? And then they'll be like, so while Sora was doing this person was doing this, while this was happening, but these two things contradict each other, and these two things, we established this in this game, but in the live action tier in the TV show they do this. No, kill me. No, just do Sora.
I don't think they're going to, only because I know Square's not working on the movie. Well, I don't know. This is all rumor and speculation, but it's rumored Disney's doing the whole thing. Like, this is a Disney project, not a Square Enix project. I mean, Square Enix will probably be involved with, like, here's the story, here's the storyboard, whatever, but it's going to be Disney made and directed and all that. So I have more hopes that it's not going to be canon.
I can't with these anymore. If you're not, no, move on. I can't talk about this anymore. What's the next thing we're talking about?
Last thing I have on my docket is your PlayStation Plus games for the month of May. I don't know.
Right, Tunic.
Yeah. So Tunic comes out. Tunic is it's difficult, but it's very, very fun. I highly recommend Tunic. I loved playing it last year, and now that I'm out doing it on Game Pass, I'm going to download it. And I'm going to try to platinum it. Ghost Runner, I've heard nothing but good things. I haven't played it. I don't know. FC24, do not care. Really do not care. And then Destiny 2 Lightfall is just more Destiny 2 DLC that, once again, do not care. Unaffected.
I don't really care about Destiny.
I know people who...
Being honest.
My old roommate loved Destiny. Adored it. So...
People can like what they like.
Yeah, it's just not for me. It is definitely not for me. Hold on, I'm going to try to make some... No? Okay, we're good. Tech issues everywhere. That's all my bit of news. Emily is itching at the bit to talk about...
Yeah, am I allowed to talk now?
No. Absolutely not. Emily's itching at the bit to talk about Dreamlight Valley. So I will let her go on about the update, and I'll talk about the tiny bit that I saw. But go ahead.
Okay, so as many of you know, Kingdom Hearts, we gotta stop this. I can't talk about Kingdom Hearts anymore. Dreamlight Valley.
Listen,
are they not the same thing?
There are Kingdom Hearts elements in Dreamlight Valley. It's Kingdom Hearts and Toontown, we said, mixed with Animal Crossing.
Right? And a darkness is taking over the land. Like, it's just Kingdom Hearts. They're the same thing. Except one lets me design things. So Dreamlight Valley dropped a new update today. One was for the base game. So if you have been following Dreamlight Valley at all, they release an update every 2 months. For the base game, that comes with a free update, a new star path, a new character, new quests, etc., etc. And then they also, back in December, released a DLC island called Eternity Isle that had its own quest line featuring Jafar, Rapunzel, Gaston, and Eve. And then they're releasing 2 updates following the DLC, but they have only been every other update. So it was released in December, and then it was not part of the February update. Now we're getting one May 1st, and then we'll finally probably get the last one at the end of the summer. So this was a big update because not only did it come with the normal update stuff that we get, but the DLC got its whole new... And it's the first update since the DLC came out, right? So they had time to flesh out a lot of the stuff about the DLC that people were having problems with, or just like quality of life things to make things easier. There's a time bending mechanic in the DLC that has been a little wonky, and so they released some really good quality of life updates for that as well. And it's been great. I think everyone, so the new character they really released this time around was Daisy, and I think everyone is finally glad to have Daisy. I don't understand why she wasn't part of the main game when it was released. Like, we have Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Donald. Like, Daisy is a pretty important character in that group.
What about Max Goof, M?
He's not part of the core 6.
Listen, give me... Okay... I don't know. Daisy's not as big as the others, though. She's not in everything like the others are.
She's in almost everything. I would say the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that she's not in would be Kingdom Hearts.
She is in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, great. What is Daisy not in?
No, I mean, like, most movies I see regarding, like, or things, it has them. It'll have Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy, but it really doesn't...
Name one.
The Christmas one.
The Christmas
one. I don't remember what it's called. I don't think Daisy's in it. It's the one.
Okay, well, as someone who watches a lot of Toon Disney Disney Junior because she has lots of nieces and nephews, she's in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Mickey Mouse Funhouse. She's in House of Mouse. She's in pretty much pretty much all of the big Mickey content. And at Toontown, like the actual Toontown at the Disney, she has her own house and her own cafe. So she's still a pretty big character.
I think she's a pretty big character. I just don't see her. It doesn't matter. I don't see her as prominent as the others, but
that comes to she's probably the least famous out of that whole group. But I still think she's still part of the Mickey and Friends package.
Yeah,
it's normally Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Pluto. Those are the core 6.
We don't have Pluto.
No, we don't.
Damn it! I didn't even think about we have the talking walking dog, but we don't have the Dog.
That's, I think, like they're referred to as like it's like the something six, and it's the six of them who are like the Mickey and Friends core group who are in like every single Mickey thing. And there's like some outlying ones like Pete, Clarabelle, Chip and Dale, like people like that, but those are the core six. And so, I mean, Pluto, I think we need at some point. I don't really know if he'd be his own character or companion or whatnot, but it was really weird that all of them were included except for Daisy. And I feel like this is a long time coming.
I watched a ton of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers as a kid. That was my jam. I didn't watch the movie that came, the live action that came out recently, but there is a Kingdom Hearts reference in it, from what I understand.
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, there's a Keyblade hidden somewhere. That face.
I'm intrigued. And then part of me is like wondering, is it actually a Keyblade, or did just people see something that looked like a key and they were like, it's a key?
So from what I understand, that movie too is incredibly unhinged. Like they for example, remember how Sonic the Hedgehog had a terrible design for the first live action movie, and then they fixed it. Yeah. They put the terrible design in that movie.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I saw a clip of that. Now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
I saw that.
I need to watch that film for that reason. So.
Anyway, I am actually interested. I want to talk to more people and get their opinions on whether or not they believe Daisy is pretty. I think she's pretty integral to the group. I mean, she's no Mickey and Minnie, but who is Mickey and Minnie?
I'm not saying she's not integral to the group. I'm just saying she's not as, like, she's not everywhere. Like, I feel like everyone else is so in your face. They're in your face about the others, but not as much about Daisy.
Maybe she's in everything.
I don't see it. And maybe if she's in Kingdom
Hearts, she's in all the Mickey and
okay,
Minnie
hold
TV
on.
shows.
She's in Kingdom Hearts for 5 seconds. She's barely there.
Minnie has like 1 or 2 scenes. Let's be honest. Even Mickey only has a few scenes. The real stars are Goofy and Donald. We can't base how important somebody is to the Disney world based on how prominent they are in the Kingdom Hearts
I'm not talking about Kingdom Hearts specifically, though. I will say, Mickey, they made a whole game to explain why his shirt was off at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, so... Oh, God. I also have to limit myself. Sorry. She's invested.
I'm like looking this up. She's in everything. She's even in Epic Mickey.
I don't remember her in Epic Mickey. I believe you.
She's in Mickey Speedway, Disney Golf.
Once again,
she's in all the TV shows.
It's not a is she there or not? It's a, is she promoted and put in your face as much as the others?
But you've said is she there twice now? You said she's not in everything.
I mean, okay, fair. Maybe I should rephrase it. I am rephrasing it then. She's not as in your face as the other ones. Disney
that I can agree with, but I still think it's weird.
Push her.
I still think it's weird she was left out.
I do think it's weird, but I get it, kind of. Maybe they're like, hey, we need these 4 have to be there. Daisy can wait. Pluto can wait. But
I don't know.
Freaking give us Mother Gothel and not Rapunzel at first, though. I don't know their decisions.
I listened to somebody describe Dreamlight Valley once, and they phrased it as the cohesion of characters was no more cohesive than that of like ransom note letters cut out of a magazine and like pasted, or like the bedroom wall of like a small child who had cut like photos out of a magazine and pasted them up. Like there was no logic in the characters they chose and why they chose them to start the game versus who they're adding in later. It's just like they just threw it at a wall and said, who do we got next?
They had a dartboard and they're like, all right, boom, Mother Gothel. Oh, Miss Rapunzel. Well, I guess Wally's going in. But all the Frozen characters got hit somehow at the same time.
That is like, I think the worst part is that like there's some that were complete, like the Little Mermaid. You had Eric, Ariel, and Ursula, which I'm not complaining about because Ariel's my favorite Disney princess and I loved Eric. But then you also had Krista, Anna, I mean, granted, Olaf came later, but you had Kristoff, Anna, Elsa, and Olaf. Like, all 4 of them right off the bat, pretty much.
Meanwhile, my favorite Disney movie only has an appearance of the villain in the DLC, and I still don't have Aladdin or Jasmine or Iago or
Aladdin.
Or Abu, but Jafar's there in DLC behind a paywall, and also,
I'm curious.
Also, there's no Cusco or Kronk, so that makes me upset.
You're gonna have to wait, bud. We don't even have Cinderella. Do you hear the words I'm saying? Cinderella is not present and accounted for.
We won't get Cusco until 2027. I've already come to terms with it.
Oh, 2027 is being generous, my friend. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so we got Daisy, and Daisy's coming with a boutique, which I have mixed feelings on. I messed with the boutique a little today, but I just don't use. So they last year, I think it was, released a customization ability to let you customize furniture and clothing and make your own. And people have been using that, but to use, and you couldn't use it in Dream Snaps, like where you take pictures of things. Like you couldn't have any of your Touch of Magic items in them. So it's kind of like, oh, what's the point? Because you had to take them out every time you wanted to do a Dream Snaps. But now they've released a boutique where you can display them, and then people can come to your valley and get your designs and wear your designs. There's a challenge to it as well, where she'll challenge you to make something, and if you do it correctly, you get these tokens, and tokens you can use to buy more things to customize, which is actually pretty exciting because you can now make your own doors. There's some pebbles and things like flooring you can lay down that you can customize. That I've been looking for it in the store for 2 years, and I never got them in the store, but I did get them today through Daisy. The Star Path is unfortunately not one I'm super thrilled about. Last 2 years ago, maybe at this point, they had a Disney Park Star Path where you could win like the big Mickey Mouse Ferris wheel. You could win the spinning teacups, and the Dumbo ride, and some of the other things like some Disney Park benches, trash cans, things like that to make you feel like you're at Disney. So they're bringing that around again because that was pretty popular. Like, really enjoy, what am I going to do? What am I personally going to do with a spinning teacup ride, a spinning Dumbo ride, and now they've added in the spinning magic carpet Aladdin ride and the spinning like alien ride, and it's like there's like 4 or 5 different spinny rides, and it's like, and they're huge too. They're huge. They take up like half a biome on their own. It's like, where the heck am I going to put all these?
You're making Disney World, Em. Get rid of all. You don't need the character houses anymore. You don't need the houses anymore. It's
a valley. It's not a theme park.
Don't tell Walt Disney that. He'll disagree with you.
The actual Disney theme park is a theme park, but they're living in a valley. They have homes. We have a store. We are a humble people. We have one shop and one place to eat.
Have I told you about capitalism?
It's bad, man. It's bad. I don't need more rides. There's a couple cool pieces in the Star Path that I'm excited to get. There's a Toontown fire station.
She told me about that, and it's actually making me want to do the Star Path just for that, because that was my childhood.
There's been a lot of Toontown stuff in the premium shop that's been coming lately that I've been getting. So it's cool. And then, so that's pretty much like the base game update. And then the DLC update came out today as well, which introduced Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He's adorable, quite frankly. His art style is very different from the rest of the characters. And that was met with a lot of controversy. A lot of people really hated how different he looked. Really liked how unique he looked. I personally am a fan of how unique he looks. I think they were all starting to mesh a little too much together, and I like that he stands out. His house is really cool. He is bringing a black and white effect to a lot of the valley and the Isle as part of the quest line. I haven't finished the actual quest line with Jafar yet, so I don't know how long that's going to go. But Oswald, so when you first get him, he doesn't speak. He can only gesture, and I thought that was really fun and cute. And then, like, halfway through his quests, he can start talking, and I hate it. His voice is not what I wanted, and it's... he talks like a 20s gangster, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
When was it? Wasn't that around the time of his conception? Was around, like, the 20s?
I don't know the dates of Disney stuff off the top of my head, but he was the predecessor to Mickey Mouse. So
yes.
it would be before Mickey Mouse was created.
He was
And they do really go with that.
1927.
Yeah. So he does very much fit the era. That's why they've been doing the black and white. Obviously, because when he was released, he was a black and white character. And I like him. I wish he just wouldn't speak. I wish he would gesture only. I thought that was a lot cuter. And like the speech bubble for him, when it came up when you talked to him, it was like black and white. And it read like a silent film, which I really liked. And then they changed that back to normal. So I was like, oh, dang it. That's kind of sad. But a lot of people aren't a fan of Oswald. The fact that he's in the game, a lot of people say he's not an important character. And we should be getting important characters like Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph.
I would argue Oswald...
I guess we have different priorities.
Oswald, I would argue, is one of the most important Disney creations, though. Like, if you think about it, one of the most, not the most, but like up there.
Blake, I don't think what you don't understand about Disney Dreamlight Valley people is they're unhinged and psychotic and entitled, and they feel like they should get whatever character they want at the time. I've seen people lately complaining that Timon and Pumbaa aren't in the game yet, but we're adding Mulan and Tiana. And why are we adding Mulan and Tiana when we still don't have Timon and Pumbaa? Timon and Pumbaa are more important to the game than Tiana and Mulan.
I hate people.
I'm like, there's no way you sat down and you typed that out and said Timon and Pumbaa are more important to this game than Mulan and Tiana. What are we even talking about? What would they even bring? What would their quest line be? As maybe like a companion, like, you know, like you have the foxes and the squirrels, whatnot, like who just followed you around. Sure, bring in Pumbaa. But like, what's his house gonna be? What is his story gonna be? Like, is Pumbaa's questline gonna be that he like farts a lot and all the other villagers don't want to be near him because he's stinky? Like,
you have to make him bugs. That's all you would do is make him bugs.
People are so crazy. I've seen other people out there being like, why don't we have anyone from Atlantis yet? This is garbage. And I'm like, guys, again, can I remind you, Cinderella is still not in this game. Sleeping Beauty's still not in this game. Snow White's still not in this game. Jasmine and Aladdin aren't in this game. Hercules isn't in this game. Nope. Like, there's so many important characters who are not here. We just got Daisy.
I don't know how... There are going to be people who are begging for Tarzan who don't understand that it's literally impossible for Tarzan to ever enter the game. And that's you know that history, right? Yeah.
That's why the whole Kingdom Hearts thing, they have to separately mention him.
Yeah, they have to separately mention him, and he can never be in a future game, like ever, which is nuts to me.
That's fine. I mean, there's a lot that I don't need. I think I've been pretty happy with the characters they've introduced so far. I wish they would kind of finish off some series first. Like, I wish we would get Flynn Rider for Rapunzel, so I could check like that off. I wish we would get Lilo for Lilo and Stitch. If we're not going to get Lilo, that's fine. But if we were going to get her, I'd like to cross that one off too. We have Beauty and the Beast, so I think that's fine.
Oh,
if there's anybody else, we got Nala and Simba. There's anybody else who's missing like their pair.
Did you ever play the old like computer game? It may have been on like PS1 or PS2. The old Lilo and Stitch video game that came out that was sick as hell. It's a little
not that
3D,
I can remember.
Like a little 3D platformer. It was awesome. I love that game. Disney had some banger. I played that, and I played a lot of the Emperor's New Groove PC game. Those
like PC games that came out in that era were great.
They were.
There was like a peak of media where like they made the movies and then they did like the TV shows and the online games, and then also like the full CD-ROM PC games that you could play.
It was
all of which were great.
All one company too. If it was a adaptation of any media ever from TV, it was THQ. THQ did SpongeBob, they did Disney, they did Jimmy Neutron, they did everything. Everything.
At Jimmy Neutron, I had a Fairly Odd Parents PC game.
Yep.
I had a couple Little Mermaid ones. I had a lot of Barbie ones. Speaking of, when is Barbie getting added to Dreamlight?
All right. What else? Is there any more to the DLV update?
I think that's I mean, like, obviously there's some new paths, some new items to craft, but I think the big thing, multiplayer has expanded. I think that was a big complaint. People complained that multiplayer was essentially you could just go into people's shops. That's expanded now. Blake was a witness to that. I did dig up part of his valley earlier today.
She desecrated my valley earlier today.
I dug like 5 squares.
Yeah, and now I have to go and fix it or just wait 2 days, which I probably won't
and
take.
they'll be gone because you don't play the game anyway. Also, he bought an item I didn't have and was like, oh, I'll buy this. That man has not decorated anything in his valley. He's just all of a sudden was like, to go buy this one.
She's trying to get me to play the game again. And then every time I'm like, okay, maybe I'll be interested in playing the game again and doing something in the game. She's like, but he doesn't play the game. I feel very gatekeepy here.
You haven't played the game.
I know. I'm going to get back into it. Here's the thing. I played all throughout 22 and through 23, but there have been so many bangers in early 24 that I'm just like,
there were a lot of good games last year and this year, but Dreamlight Valley comes first, man.
My attention's been pulled. Plus, Emily has 2 games of mine that she needs to play, and she's only played bits of one of them.
Yeah, I'll go back to it.
Anywho, let's move on to the main topic, which is what we want to see in a successor to the Nintendo Switch. I'm not going to call it the Switch 2. I knew it was. She had it there on the ready. Like, she knew what she wanted.
Both of them are sitting right here because I like bring them up every time we have podcasts, and then I set them down, and then by the time next podcast comes around, they're still here.
So yeah, Switch successor, whatever it may or may not be. I'm going to put I'm gonna put this disclaimer here. A YouTuber who I really like, who also is the only podcast I listen to, he just released a video on what he wants to see to Switch 2. So a lot of the things I was going to say is going to coincide. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not stealing from him, but if you see anything coinciding, it's just because it's blatantly obvious, but credit to him. Go look up Beat 'em Ups on YouTube. He has a great video on what he wants to see to Switch 2. And he had an artist do some 3D mock-ups of what he wants to see. Also, if the Nintendo podcast wants to host me and Emily on their podcast, we will not say no. We will be there with a resounding yes if you pay for our plane tickets to New York. Thank you.
I have not seen any podcasts about the Switch 2, so I'm fresh and unpoisoned by other ideas. I'd like to talk about what we do know about the Switch 2, and there was, I don't know if many of you saw, there was some news that was released last week that Blake and I found particularly funny, because it all starts off very normally, where they're like, oh, the Joy-Cons are going to be magnetically attached to the screen is going to be slightly larger, like normal things like that, and then they said the accessory developers were allowed to touch, but not look at the console. They could just, like, feel around it, and, like, get a hand thing, but not allowed to see. No sight.
It was funny because 2 days after you sent that to me, the normal like news guy I watch in the mornings, he said like whoever went to go do it, they literally had it in a box with like that cloth that they put the hand in that box, and that's all they could do was feel it. And these are third party who create cases and stuff. What are they gonna do with a feeling?
I would feel that and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Switch. Good job. You made a Switch.
That's a video game console developed by Nintendo in the year of 2024.
I mean, like, how are you gonna feel unless you like pull the Joy-Cons apart and lash them back on? How are you gonna feel that it's magnetic, right? Like, you're literally just gonna reach down and be like, yeah, I'm holding a Switch.
I will, because you keep bringing it up. I'm gonna go ahead and say this one now. That magnet better be strong on that console, because I'm a clumsy guy. I'm not even going to deny it. And I will hit it and that controller is going to go flying. It has to be on there. The rails right now, how the Joy-Con slide on, that makes sense. If I accidentally knock it,
I don't know why that need to be changed.
Better connectivity. I also
wonder, really, this is really minimal. It does not matter at all. But you know how like Nintendo's like key sound is that, like the sound of the Switch locking in?
Yeah.
What are they going to have now? Because it's not going to make that noise anymore.
Clack. Just clack.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you saw some of the patents, but some of those patents are crazy too on what it's supposed to do. But granted, most patents you see are not used anyways. They're more like protection or proof of concept if they decide to go that route. Most of the time they don't. Like one of the things I saw, it was supposed to have 2 separating screens, not to act like a DS, but like, you know how the whole idea of the Switch, other than being portable, you hand your friend the other Joy-Con, and you have two controllers all of a sudden you can play together, right? And some people are like, oh yeah, you're gonna hand them the screen, then you both have a screen to do something on. But I don't think they're gonna pull through that. That'd be too expensive. It's not gonna look good.
It's just so incredibly unnecessary for the rare times that like me and my friend are on the go and we both want to play the Switch at the same time. Which I can't even think of one time that has happened. Normally, it's somebody is at somebody's home.
It's on the TV.
Put it on the big boy TV. Not dang, man, we're playing Mario Kart on this airplane, and, like, I put the Switch on my thing, and now we both have a Joy-Con and can look at it, but I wish I had a second screen to give to you to put 3 inches to the left, so we wouldn't have to share this one.
What's crazy to me is that the portability was great for, like, me traveling, like, going on a plane or whatever, but after that, after the initial novel, like the first year I used to play primarily portably. I would go, when I had this apartment, I'd go out to the back patio and I'd play on the patio portably because I'm like, I can do this. This is great. But after that novelty wore off, I'm like, just put it on the TV. I don't want to do it portably unless I'm like forced to, huh?
We're different people.
Well, you like being in bed and playing.
No, but I also have a TV in the room. I could easily attach it to the TV, but I also sometimes like having it in my hands. Like you said, I like being able to go outside with it. I've taken it on some picnics. Again, if you're traveling at all, it's great to have.
Right,
you can bring it to a friend's house. Like right now, if I'm like, oh, hey, Tia, let's play Animal Crossing together locally, I can pick it up and go to her house instead of being like, now if I want to show her my Dreamlight Valley town, I have to be like, Tia...
Oh, I'm talking.
Bring my PS5 to your home.
I'm talking specifically at home, the portability at the home. Like people will say, "Oh, I went to take a poop with my Switch or whatever," or like if I'm home, primarily at home, I'm gonna dock it. If I'm going anywhere, it's not gonna be docked. I'm gonna be portably, and I love that. But the whole like portability while I'm at home, I'm just gonna have it on the TV.
You know, I actually think I played the majority of Princess Peach's Showtime portable.
That was the right call. Remember what we determined was that it ran better portably than it did docked.
Oh, I don't remember if we determined that. It was just bad either way. Oh yeah, because you were struggling with it more than I was.
Yeah, and whenever I played portably, it worked better, significantly better.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on. Speaking of Switch in Dreamlight Valley, something else I want to see from the Switch, obviously, is just running better. A lot of people, especially people who have the Switch and who have Dreamlight Valley, now, grain of salt because Dreamlight Valley is still a buggy mess a lot of the time. But a lot of Switch users who play Dreamlight Valley are complaining because their item limit, so like the amount of items you can put in your Valley at one time, is less than that of other consoles. And they're like, come on, Dreamlight Valley, you gotta up it for us. Like, you gotta give us more items. And people are like, no. Like, I bought Animal Crossing in 2020, and of course, being me, I decorated the entire island. Granted, I did not decorate it as intense or as beautifully as a lot of like those, Instagram or YouTube people do. They're incredible. But I did my best, and I used a lot of items even then in 2020 with a first-party Nintendo game. If I walked through an area that had a lot of items that I put in there, it would start like lagging and like freeze framing, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And so actually ended up getting so detrimental to the game. I started items and decorating less because I can't. And now 4 years later, Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, you froze and all your words got muddled together. So last thing we heard.
Where did I leave you?
2020, you walk into an area, and then what you were explaining, I'm assuming, is what was just happening, where your frame rate dropped and all the sounds were a jumbled mess. M? Is she gone?
Yeah. So everything froze. Again.
Hold on.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening. My internet. Probably freaking Discord.
Wait. Okay, you're back.
Am I? I don't know what happened. Discord didn't freeze at all. Like when I look at my screen on Discord, it's still going. And my internet says it's fine, so I don't know what happened to me. Yeah, that's weird. But Animal Crossing, essentially, I walked through a lot of decorations. everything would freeze frame, everything would lag. Am I frozen again?
No,
I quit.
Okay, what? I will do the backup
Just
here.
take me out. I can't today.
I'm going to do the backup here. The good news is reports are saying that the new console is going to be as powerful as a PS4 or an Xbox One, which in 2024, I would argue is okay for something portable. And so things like the Dreamlight Valley thing or the Animal Crossing thing, all those games that you like to play should not be a buggy mess. But that also... So the Switch itself uses something called a Tegra chip, which is essentially a glorified mobile chip, like for mobile devices, right? This should be a lot beefier and will work hopefully significantly better. Some people behind closed doors saw gameplay of Breath of the Wild running on it, and it says it's like night and day. It's a whole different experience.
I hope so, because even, again, Tears of the Kingdom, when it was first released, struggled really badly, again, with just lagging. And again, in Animal Crossing, Peach's Showtime. So this has been a problem 2020, 2023, 2024, 2022 when Dreamlight Valley came out. It's every single game, for the most part, is really struggling on the Switch. So number one priority for Switch 2 should be better performance.
Better performance is coming. I have full faith. I think Nintendo knows this at this point. Because if it's not a 2D Mario game, it's not going to run great. I mean, I will not give Pokemon the benefit of the doubt, though, because they launched a game that's just broken.
It's its own story.
Yeah, people blame the Switch's age on that. No, that is not the Switch's age. That is the Pokemon company being like, this is not finished. Give me money, please.
Send it out anyway. We need the money.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to bring up the release titles because that's something else we've discussed a lot and have not come to a conclusion on if the Switch was released at the end of this year, at the beginning of next, what a release title would be. Obviously, most people know we just got a Zelda game, right? Breath of the Wild was the release title for the first Switch. We just got a Zelda game, so unlikely we're going to get another within the next year. We just got an Animal Crossing game in 2020, so unlikely we're going to get another one by the time the Switch 2 comes out. I mean, a Pokemon game?
No. Well,
those are a dime a dozen.
Technically, yes, but I will get into that. So first and foremost, before I dive into that, part of the launch needs to be backwards compatibility if there is a lack of launch titles. So for people who don't have an original Switch but like want to play Switch games,
under the mindset that of course it would have backwards compatibility because it's just the Switch 2 or whatever it will be called. We don't actually know, but okay, that's another thing to talk about what we think the title will be if it's not Switch 2.
It's the Switch U.
If it doesn't have, don't even put that energy out there. It's gotta be something that rhymes with Switch. What if it's just the B word?
So a rumor came out that it's going to be, someone says it's going to be the Switch Attach, is what I've heard.
So he's like, Fire Emblem, engage. Switch, attach.
But as...
Switch, okay, sorry, I know we don't talk to chat, but like, somebody in chat suggested Switchblade, and I love Switchblade. Switchfoot.
Okay, back at the topic at hand, launch titles. I think we will finally get a new Mario Kart after 11 years. I think we'll finally get a new Mario Kart. Finally. I think we will get a new 3D Mario game. I think that's going to launch. And it's funny you say Pokemon. So this is the rumor, what's in the rumor mill for the Pokemon game. People believe Pokemon Legends ZA was supposed to come out this year in 2024 on the new Switch console. However, because the Switch was pushed back to 2025, that's when they said, oh, this is releasing in 2025.
Does that mean it'll be good?
Probably not. No, it's a Legends game. The first Legends game was actually decent. So this one probably will be decent.
So here's my rub with all of this. None of that entices me to buy a Switch. First of all, I know you seemed really excited about the idea of a new Mario Kart.
and
Am I
and 3D
unlike
Mario.
Okay, I'm the only one who's like, I don't need a new Mario Kart. I know the last one came out a long time ago, but again, we just got 50 new courses for it. That took like a year to get. Like, you paid money to have those additional courses. You paid money to get the game on the Switch. Like, I really don't need a new Mario Kart at this point in time. I'm not a fan of Pokemon, but I know I'm in the minority there.
She is.
And I feel like, again, I don't know, a Mario, like, I guess it would just depend on what the Mario game was.
She hasn't even played. Well, she started Odyssey, but she hasn't gotten very far in it. We will
It's
get
a 3D Mario game for sure.
things you need to know about Emily. Platformers, not her favorite.
I would argue, for the most part, Mario's not my favorite, but he
How
does
dare.
have his rare moments for me.
I think if the launch lineup is weak, I think if the launch lineup is weak, they will do some kind of Wind Waker or Twilight Princess port.
It's literally the only thing I think at this point that they could throw out where I'd be like, I'd take all my money. If you just, Nintendo, buddies, like, guys, please, we all want it. I would pay you $70.
Don't tell them 70, 60.
$80.
Shut the
$100.
Shut up.
I don't even need you to remake it. I don't need you to be like, we've made it from the ground up. I don't need you to add any fancy bells and whistles to it. I want to play it on the Switch. All right? Like, this is all I have. And he don't work very well. Please. Bring it back. Come, let him play, ref. Let him play.
Another theory I have about what's going to release, and this is not going to entice you either. It doesn't really entice me either because I haven't played the others. I think Metroid Prime 4 is finally going to release, even though it was supposed to launch in like 2019.
Maybe just need to accept that the era of like the Switch 1 was really my peak era, with like Breath of the Wild releasing and then Animal Crossing releasing at the beginning of the pandemic, and then getting all of like a bunch of the 3D Zeldas on there. I know we haven't gotten Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, but we got Ocarina of Time, we got Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword. I mean, the Switch 1 era just gave me so... And then we got another Zelda game on the same console. We got, again, the Skyward Sword remaster. We got the Link to the Past, which I haven't played yet, but we got that. Like, we just got so much good stuff over the Switch.
We got a remake of what is the game? The Game Boy one. Why can't I think of the name?
The Game Boy.
Link's Awakening.
Yes.
Link's Awakening.
I said that.
Oh, did you? I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There are a total of 3 games, Zelda games, that I know you cannot play on the, technically 4, but I don't count one of them.
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess.
A Link Between Worlds, which is a 3DS title. Oh, and the 2DS title, so add Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah.
And then also Triforce Heroes, but this is not really a Zelda game. It doesn't count.
Yeah, maybe I just have to accept that the Switch 1 was my peak era, and whatever the Switch 2 brings may be good in time, but it's certainly not going to be like... I remember I didn't get the Switch when it first came out, because remember, it was still hard to get Switches then, too. Like, they were selling out like crazy. Yeah. And I was like, I really don't need it. So I actually played Breath of the Wild for the first time on a Wii U. Like, my friend bought the Wii U version, and we played it on the Wii U. It was fine. But I was like, no, I can't. I need the Switch. I need to be able to play all of these new games that are coming out, and we already knew the Animal Crossing game was coming at that point, and I was like, no, I gotta have it. I don't know if I'll feel that way about whatever the Switch 2 brings.
I think
especially now that I just bought my pink peach Joy-Cons.
I think in time, and I think I'm going to be the same way, because when the PS5 launched, I needed it. I don't know why either. Like, I just really wanted it, and I'm glad I have it.
Let's admit that the PS5 hasn't been very remarkable either.
Looks wise, yes. Graphical capability, yes. Game wise, no. Because most things are cross-platform, and it feels like it doesn't even matter. I think there's only 15 games that are exclusive now to the PlayStation 5. And it's very low.
It's kind of crazy how little the PS5 needed to exist at this point, with how much everything's just being released for PS4 as well. And the difference isn't that big.
I feel I don't know if I can go back to a DualSense 4. A Dual Shock 4 from a DualSense. That DualSense controller is like the most comfortable controller I've ever used in my life. But I mean, it's the same thing. This whole thought, it has to be a pretty big release for me to want to do it. Now, granted, if this podcast takes off, fingers crossed, the idea is then we both have to buy one and review the games that came out on it. But we'd have to get to that point. As of right now, as an average consumer, average Joe, I don't do anything like this. Let's assume you're right. I don't think I'm going to be getting it day one. I don't think I need to.
Also, if it follows the same train that the PS4, PS5 thing did, where any new game that comes out for the next 4 years, you can buy on Switch 1 or Switch 2, what's the real point? Until they look me in the eye and they tell me Wind Waker is exclusive to the new Switch, or we're getting another Animal Crossing game that is once again exclusive to the new Switch. I mean, they've given me what they're going to give me for the next few years at least.
Yeah. I think they're not going to make the same mistake they did in between. Well, this is not even... it was their mistake. So, with the Wii U, when the Wii U launched, they had a bunch of third-party support when it launched because of the success of the Wii. The Wii U failed, lost all of its third-party support. So when the Switch launched, there was like no third-party support. Everyone's like, we don't trust this. Like, this is not going to do well for us. And now they're going the opposite direction. So Nintendo knows they have to knock this next console out of the park as something that people want to grab. So those third-party releases come in and they stay. So I think at the beginning it might seem slow, but it's going to take off because Nintendo knows they have to release something that people are going to want to grab as soon as possible.
This was something we talked about too. Look at the next year of games for Nintendo. We have Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door coming out in just a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
Tragically, I will be on vacation when it comes out.
I won't.
Sad about it. So we're going to have to wait to do that one until I can play it too. And then what else do we have in the next year of Nintendo that is like a big release?
Well, now that's part of Nintendo's strategy. That's their whole goal here, is because they have something.
That's what I mean. If they don't have anything, they have to have something big for release. But what if they don't have something big for release either? I can't imagine what they would have for release that would excite me.
Wind Waker.
That's it. That is like the scene from the Hunger Games where she goes to pick the tribute and there's one name in the bowl and it's Katniss Everdeen's name. Like, that is it. If Nintendo was like, what can we pull out of here that would excite Emily enough to buy the Switch 2? The only card in there is Wind Waker for Switch. If they pull it out, there's nothing left in the bowl.
Not even another Animal Crossing?
Okay, yeah, another Animal Crossing I would pay big money for, but it's still too 8 years in between New Leaf and New Hearts. Granted, that hasn't always been the case. There have been shorter turnaround times for new Animal Crossing games, but I don't know that we would get that right away. I think it would be another few years, especially since we've heard absolutely nothing about it. They're not going to shadow drop it next year and be like, here it is.
I think there's 3 things that would release that would make me get it day one. It is a 3D Mario game.
Okay.
It's Mario Maker 3. But that's not going to be a launch day release. There's no way that's going to be a launch day title. And then third is obviously Wind Waker. I do not care about Splatoon. Keep Splatoon to yourself. I do not care. Genuinely.
I forget about Splatoon. Until you bring it up, I always forget. There was another episode we did where you were like, yeah, Nintendo only has these IPs. And you mentioned it. I was like, what's the other one? I cannot think of another. And you're like, Splatoon. And I was like, oh, yeah. That is a game.
The Splatoon fan base is massive though. Like, if you talk to any people who like Splatoon, they love Splatoon. You live, eat, poop.
I have a friend who's really big on Splatoon. Those kind of games just naturally give me anxiety, so they're not for me personally. I understand. I think the design is really cool. I like the design of the characters, but again, that would not be something that would make me go, I gotta go get it. I gotta have it.
This is the last thing I will mention, at least from my end, that I really want. And this is more of a novelty. If I don't get it, it's fine. This is more of a for fun thing, and it's funny. The YouTuber who I watched said the same thing. I'm like, oh, cool. So, what I want the dock to be minimalist, like you just set it on there. And the reason I want that is so when you set it on there, that screen that's normally like showing your game in your portable, it shows something else. It doesn't need. It can be something interactive, or it can show something fun. It give character to the system while it's docked. So it's.
You mean you don't want the front part of the dock?
I don't even want the.
So you would just want to be able to see the screen while it's docked. So like you could have something like the iPhone has like standby mode with like a clock or whatever. You want that on the Switch,
or even put something interactive, like make it to where developers can develop something.
How would I have these cute designs on the front of my Switch?
You wouldn't need to because those cute designs will be moving on the screen while you're playing.
But I put the sticker here.
Well, that's you.
The Aloha boys have some dust on them. Hold on, let me clean them up. Tell them you don't want them around anymore.
Oh, I mean,
Tell them you don't want them around anymore.
Timmy and Tommy.
Tell them.
Timmy and Tommy can stay because I'll teach them to be better. Tom Nook is too far gone. He's a dirty businessman.
Right. They're gone.
That's the end of that.
Gone.
Also,
actually, I like the Switch 1 so much, I bought it twice. I've had the original black and white. I had the original like gray version. And then when they announced the Animal Crossing version, I was like, forget about it, and bought the Animal Crossing version instantly.
I still have the exact same Switch I bought 3 days after launch in 2017. My buddy worked at a local game store. He lied to people and had one to the side for me to wait those 3 days for my payday for me to go and grab it.
Well, that's another thing now, is that I'm wondering, again, if the Switch 2 came out and they just had, like, it was just like a gray. Again, I don't think I'd buy it because now that I've had this experience of, I bought the gray version that was kind of just blah, that came out upon release, and then 2 years later they dropped into Animal Crossing version. Okay, well. Say
what you will about Sony. This generation, I will say they're doing it right with those things, because if I want a different color PlayStation, they're releasing the plates. So if I want...
And they're hideous.
Okay, they're colors, but if I want, like, if they do a Kingdom Hearts 4 one, I will buy it in a heartbeat, and I will change those faceplates immediately.
Yeah, but they took them like 2 years to come out with it, and it was like, here's a red, a green, a blue, a purple.
Do not.
They're really ugly shades of these colors too, and they have nothing else to them.
I adore my purple, even though it looks blue on this camera. I adore my purple. I adore this thing.
It's blue. It does. It's
yeah.
Blue.
In person, I can tell, like, looking at it here, it's purple, but on camera, it definitely looks blue for some reason. I don't know why.
And again, I just wish they had like fun pastels, or like they had themes for certain video games. Like this Animal Crossing one was so cute. It's very simple. It's just got the water and Timmy, Tommy, and Tom Nook, and then the Joy-Cons were pastels, and I thought that was really fun.
They were mint
one
colors.
One was a blue and one was a green. Pastels.
Is there anything else you wanted to add before we go to after party on additions? Also, I don't need 4K. I'm just going to put that out there. Keep it 1080p. Just make it run fine. Don't need 4K. Go ahead.
To make one last plea, Nintendo, if you're watching this, I don't need anything else. This is all I want. There has now been a longer period of time between Wind Waker HD and the present day than the original release of Wind Waker and the release of Wind Waker HD. It has been too long. Bring him home. Bring him home. Let him come to the rest of the party. Let him join his friends. You can bring Twilight Princess too. That's fine. I'd even give you money for Twilight Princess if you put them together. You would not stop me. But this is what we want. This is what the people are asking for. I don't need another Mario Kart. I don't need another Pokemon. I don't even need another Animal Crossing for a few years.
Emily will buy it twice.
I'll buy it twice, man. What do you want from me, Nintendo? What do you want? I'm trying to give you my money. Everyone's trying to give you their gosh dang money. You have nothing on the calendar for this year. You have a re-release scheduled 2 weeks from now of a game that's like 20 years old, and then you're done. You're done, Nintendo. What do you have? This is easy. You already did it. You have the technology. You did this like forever ago. Just do it again, man.
I can't wait
Just
for
move
them.
to the Switch.
I can't wait for them to announce it as a holiday release. And we're gonna be looking back at this.
They're cowards, man. They're not gonna do it. They're just pretending they don't exist.
You sound like the Sonic Adventure 3 kids. You freaking fricks! When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
How many times do I gotta teach you this lesson?
Oh, man.
Just give me the game.
On that note, it is the end of the podcast. We are going to After Party where we talk to chat. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Please. Also, the giveaway for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on the PS2 is still going on. The winner will be announced on the 15th. Probably the 14th. Actually, sorry, the 14th, because we're doing the podcast a day early that week. But you have to comment on that old podcast video, and I will randomly select a winner from that, and I will get your details and mail it to you. So complete in-box copy of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on the PS2. So make sure you do that. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button. Leave a comment on this. Exposure helps.
Smash that like.
All over the place. And on top of that, make sure to follow myself on Twitch, The Bearded Blake Show. Follow her on Twitch. I know I've given up, but I'm still going to shout you out because hopefully maybe you'll be like, oh, I'm getting followers. I'll do it again.
I
Emily
plan
Jean
on
33.
streaming at one point in time.
She's been saying this for
plan
months.
on it.
She's been saying this for months.
I know, and I still plan on it.
Well,
Didn't say when I plan on it. I just said I plan on it.
and if you want to join the after party, just come to the Twitch channel and follow us here and watch us every other Wednesday, unless we have to do something weird and move the schedule around, which we've done a lot more recently. We're so sorry. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful night. It's after party time. Goodbye.
Remember to reach out to your local Nintendo and let them know what the people want.